Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for joining us on this first episode of the week on the Logistics Lounge. We appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us as always. Got some cool things coming up for you today. Going to touch on some stuff with the Baltimore Bridge. Got Tim on with Ascend TMS. Going to come hang out with us. We're going to talk about him, learn about him, and we're just going to have a good old time. So sit back, buckle up, pop a top, and enjoy the show. Hunter, what's up, bro? Steepus?
The sky and the stars and my view on this freight market.
I have a pretty good view on this freight market too. A view that it's not going to change. No plan. It's going to change. It's always going to change, dude. I don't know if you saw that short that with Justin and Trucking for Millennials or whatever that was out today, dude. That was pretty freaking cool. Justin.
I know that was neat, man. I saw that. I've seen it bouncing around a good bit, and what a great guy to have on. Justin is. It was spitting knowledge, man. He's. I mean, if you don't know how to do social media, social marketing, like that's the guy.
Yeah, I love Justin.
But also, shout out to Millennials in Trucking. I love them cats.
I know we gotta have them on our show and do a live thing. You know, like
we do.
Yeah, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do, man.
Yeah, but on the other side of things, today's been good. Actually, got pretty busy. I know last week I was still in that truck funk. Truck flu.
I know you sounded better today, bro. When I talked to
you, dude, I'm telling you, I woke up and it was just angels and rainbows and unicorns farting Skittles. But it's been good, man. I have an update on Woodfin's duck farm. So
nice.
The Canadian geese are gone, but I have a snapping turtle, dude. This thing like is huge, and I've seen him crawling from the bog over to the pond I have behind my house. And then he comes from the pond and he perches up on the corner. He's a mean motherfucker, dude. His tail's like this long. He's an alligator snapping turtle, but he's good, man. He's good. So, got me some influence today. Like, if that guy can do it, I can do it. So, we're rocking and rolling over here. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right, bro. Week's been good. Day's been good, except I don't know, man. I got this load, this load that's just being a pain. I've never had a trouble on a Texas to Oklahoma load. Never, ever. And like, I don't know. It's really being a pain in my ass. I think because it's heavy. I don't know what it is. I'm not being cheap on it, man. I mean, the lane is $900. I'm paying $1,000 on it, so I don't know. But other than that, it's good, man. Everything's gravy. You talk about the Canadian geese being gone and the snapper turtle coming, dude. Saturday when I was mowing my grass, man, we sit on a hill. So one side of our house, we have railroad ties, it's like a retaining wall. And I was walking back there to Weedy, dude, and saw this bright black and yellow freaking snake just coming down the side of the fucking railroad ties, bro, and like scared the shit out of me because I just so happened to see it out of the corner of my eye, and I literally was about to start weed eating right there, dude. And yeah,
I don't like snakes, dude. I don't like snakes.
I do not either.
I saw that snapping turtle the other morning. I was like, oh, I can go and put a stick out there, but I was like, in my mind, I said, it just rained last night. I'm gonna try to run away. I'm gonna slip and fall, and I'm losing a toe. So I left him alone.
Yeah, I looked it up, man. From I can't remember the exact snake it is, but it's basically like just a garden snake, man. They grow pretty big though. It says they grow up to like 3 feet long. Which this one, what I could see of it was it's probably at least 2 feet long. But yeah. I mean, I'm not too.
Some snakes are cool. I mean, they're more scared of us than we are of them, quote unquote. But
Bro, I don't give a shit. I do not like snakes.
I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
snakes.
I don't know what it is, dude. Like I'm cool with scorpions. I'm good with spiders. Like, I mean, here we have big ass wolf spiders. My wife, she freaks out about them. I fucking love wolf spiders. I get mad
Like
at her
the
every
big
time.
Jones, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah,
guys.
yeah. They get, I don't know, they get about as big as your palm, bro. They get
Yeah,
pretty
see that
sizable.
freaks me out, dude. But
No,
I mean, I don't mind spiders, but I can kick a spider. A snake,
no, man. They're great, man. They're great. They do not harm humans at all. Like, I mean, they will if you fuck with them, but they're great pest control. Is my point. Like, they eat bugs and other spiders and like anything they can grab onto. They're absolutely amazing. It's just their size, dude. Just like overseas and like in Iraq and stuff, man. They have the camel spiders and all that. They're absolutely massive, bro. Absolutely massive, but as long as you didn't mess with them, they didn't fuck with you, bro. Like they were not concerned about you. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, gonna go ahead, give some love to a sponsor, and tomorrow we will have a world premiere of the new Shoreline Capital video. We're hoping that one of our listeners, their biggest fan, is going to put some content into the video. Hint, hint, Corey.
I,
Make sure you send that over so we get that in the video, bro. I'm telling you, I'm going to put that in the Shoreline video. But one last time, you're going to see that old video. You know that it's a sure thing with Shoreline.
hey, did you see that comment?
I
Let's
know.
go.
Oh, what's up? What's up, dude?
Welcome to
Just
the good side.
I know, brother. I
That's
know. As soon
killer.
as I saw that pop up, I was like, "Oh shit, that coming up right after the video ends, man." That's freaking amazing, Steve. Man, we're glad we can help you out, dude. I mean, obviously, I know if you went with them, you know how amazing Clint and all his people are, man. They're really good folks, man. Salty the earth people, and if I did factoring in any facet, I would 1,000% give my business to that man and his team. Let's hit some news. Some stuff on the Baltimore Bridge. I know everybody says they, has heard a bunch about it. Y'all know what happened. But as I was talking with someone earlier, usually when stuff like this goes on, people are all on top of it 3-4 days, 5 days. And then once they feel that they've got their fill of the news and the information, they kind of just push it to the wayside. And, I think the people that really need to pay attention to this the most are us, those in logistics, for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? This is obviously a tragedy, and people lost their lives, but it's also going to have some effects, on the things that go on in our industry as far as import, export, and traffic and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into to some news. Oh, crap. Let me scroll up. Sorry. I usually have it set. My bad. There, now you can see the picture. How about them apples?
Boom.
Dude, I'm just all over the place. All right, news. Here we go. Since the Baltimore Bridge collapsed on March 26th, there's been a lot of news, a lot of happenings going on with this, as I just said a minute ago. First, the worry was about the recovery of the missing construction workers and possibly, anyone else that may have been on the bridge. Then came trying to deal with the investigation and removal of the ship from the channel. Now the worry is going to start focusing on the long-term effects of the incident. I want to say a few things that people probably know about the Baltimore port. I did not know this until reading this article, but Baltimore is the largest port for import and export of construction equipment, as well as the largest import export place for farm equipment and finished passenger vehicles in America. Dude, I didn't freaking know that. And
Mm.
also for like
The
mineral.
largest roll on, roll off.
Yes, one of the things that said in the article here, man, is it is one of the few ports that has the space to deal with those large roll on, roll off ships. I'm very glad you
And
brought that
for
up.
all of y'all that don't know what that is for cars that have been manufactured to pull onto the ship and pull off to the ship.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I didn't know these things. So just a little bit there. Let me keep moving on with it. However, though, it is only the 13th largest container port in America. So, really, the main impact is just going to be on a few niche segments, like the ones I just mentioned: auto transportation, heavy equipment, and also bulk materials. I commented on someone's post that I have a customer. She receives a lot of her minerals for her steel mixture from overseas, and she gets it into Baltimore. Matter of fact, once she offloads it, I go and pick it up from the transloading place and I take it over to the facility that finishes her stuff. So, yeah, just a few niche segments are going to be affected by it. A man, Avery Weiss, he is the vice president of Trucking FTR Transportation Intelligence. He said that for the bulk market, he doesn't think that a temporary closure or even a long-term closure of the port will have much effect other than some logistical hassles or additional road transport to alternate ports. As we have talked, man, they're moving some of this stuff to other various ports up and down the Atlantic seaboard. I'll touch on which one of those are in a minute. Another concern is of almost the 5,000 trucks that cross the Francis Scott Key Bridge daily are losing a vital transportation artery into the area. The biggest indirect consequence is going to be to car transportation with added traffic congestion because all those trucks are now going to have to use another route. Namely, they say that this is going to be affected mostly on I-695. So, anyone that's going through Baltimore, whether you've dealt with it now or you've yet to deal with it, we all know it's going to be an absolute disaster there. Definitely look for yourself another way to get into or around Baltimore. Obviously the loop here, 695, it is not going to be very much help for you. Another impact that they see will happen is there is approximately 8,000 jobs that rely on the port and its activity, along with $100 million in cargo that goes through the port every single day. So, it's really going to have an effect on the local economy there and the local happenings, obviously, with the traffic congestion and now all these people being without work. Who knows? And I'm not trying to make a joke here. Maybe some of those folks are union or something, or they have some type of fund or whatever that will help them with some lost pay, because we know unemployment ain't going to help with much. As of now, all of the vessels, as I said earlier, they're being detoured to other ports up and down the Atlantic seaboard. Some of those are New York, Norfolk, and Wilmington. And, what really lies ahead as far as the repair of the bridge, the timeline of that, other things that they're going to have to take into account to get all these things done, is yet to really been put out there with final information. There's been a lot of estimates and guesses, but I'm sure it's once the Corps of Engineers get in there and they start surveying and looking at everything and get the happenings of what they're going to need to do to remove all that debris and then replace the bridge. I would probably say it's probably going to be another month or so would be my guess. These things take a very, very long time to deal with. Just like plane crashes, man. It's kind of the same thing. It takes a lot of stuff to get everything figured out. A lot of people are involved, a lot of government agencies. So there you are. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Talk about some of the effects that this is happening in our world, on the logistics side, and what may lie in the future. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep up on this like we have done some other articles, and we'll let everybody know, because I know not everyone reads logistical news, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go ahead and give a guess at the redneck trucker. You're in a boat on a bridge right now. You're on a bridge boat, and that's gonna be my guess.
No, he's in his fighter jet, dude. He's in his fighter jet.
He thinks that he
No,
thinks we don't know that he bought that.
I
But
bet
that's
he.
gonna be the next bull snot commercial. Redneck just breaking the sound barrier, bull snot.
He said nope. Well, you're gonna have to take a picture and post it on Facebook or something. I don't know if you can post it on YouTube, and then we'll put it up. You let us know where you're at. All right, enough waiting. We're going to bring Mr. Tim into the show. We told him he was only going to have sit there for like 8 minutes, and Hunter and I got off to talking about fucking snapping turtles and snakes and shit.
Oh
And
gosh, we are
cool, you send us a
15
link,
minutes
let us
in.
know. Thank you
Sorry,
so
Tim.
very much, sir. We appreciate you watching, Mr. Redneck. Man, if that, yeah. I know, right, dude? We just rambled on and shit. Without making you wait anymore, here's Tim.
Good production work there, fellas. That's very nicely done.
Ding, 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 ding.
NBC and CBS would be
Hunter,
jealous.
yeah. Thank you. Hunter said the only thing we're missing from that was like the 80s style aerobic dancers, like coming out somewhere. You know what I mean?
Dude, I was waiting to see Jesus at the top of the steps, but
Well, I guess we got you, but it would be Jesus, Jeff Dickinson, and then you, I guess, if we're going by seniority, if Jeff is watching.
yeah, definitely further down.
Well, Tim, it's great to have you on here, brother. How's your day been?
No complaints. Big storm came through here, 50, 60 mile an hour winds. It was the same storm that was messing up, most of America the last few days with the tornadoes and floods. And, we just get the tail end of it. I'm in Florida, so we get the tail end of it. But yeah, just the same stuff everybody else has been getting. It's gone now, though, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm up here in Nashville, and yesterday I woke up to seeing one of our interstates just absolutely flooded. It's not even close to a river, but all the construction and just the rain
Yeah.
coming in. I mean, it was nuts.
It's crazy when those storms come through. Nobody knows what to do. Drivers are just crazy. They don't know how to drive in the rain or in the snow.
Yeah. Well, most people don't know what to do in the snow. Anybody in the South gets
Not
a,
in Florida.
a glimpse of the snow, or if in Florida, if it gets 60 degrees, all the schools shut down. Bread, milk, and eggs.
Tim,
But
there's your first bit of love right there. I can't see who it is, but they use the send and they absolutely love it.
yeah.
Well, whoever you are, Mr. or Mrs. User, Facebook user, I appreciate the kind words and anything we can do to make Ascend better. You let us know because you tell us and we write the code for free. We are your own personal development shop.
Love that. Well, Tim, thank you for being on the show, brother. As we ask everybody that comes on the show for the first time, obviously we know who you are, but for those that don't, who is TIm Higham, and how did you get to where you are now with the Sin TMS?
Oh, very briefly, I'm from the UK. You asked me earlier where I was from. I came to America when I was 21 years old. I'm 57 now. A lot of people think that, I sound Australian. I guess if you live in England half your life and America the other half of your life, you become Australian. But I got into transportation about 25 years ago under brokerage, about 40 million in revenue. We had an asset part of that business. Quite simply because when we called customers, the first question they'd say, "Are you asset based?" And we of course we wanted to say yes, we're asset based, and then we would try and broker everything out. So, but yeah, I used to own a brokerage, and we at the very beginning, we couldn't afford McLeod or TMW at the time, Trimble. So we wrote our own. I have a background in computer science, and so we essentially wrote our own TMS because we couldn't afford to pay for the big boys. And back in the day, 20 some years ago, 25 years ago, there was, software was something that, there was no real internet kind of software at the time. It was all installed at your office and you had to have an IT manager. That was more money. And you had to buy the servers. That was more money. So when you start a brokerage or a carrier, asset-based carrier, you had to pay the big bucks or you couldn't play the game. Well, fortunately, I could write the software. So we did, and we grew that business. I sold the whole thing in 2015 and decided just to focus on the software side of the things. And Ascend was born out of that. So that's essentially who Ascend is. We are the largest TMS or transportation management system for carriers and brokers out there. We're just Google Ascend TMS reviews. If you Google it and let the internet world speak for itself. But yeah, our charge is pretty simple. We want to provide everybody that's a small to medium-sized carrier, broker, or shipper that needs technology for free, or if you want your premium version, you can pay for it. That's what we provide. So that's who we are and what we do.
Man, look at that. Just constant love rolling in. Tim, that's Rob Carpenter. There you go. More love says you were the first and only TMS he used when he got his broker authority some
Thanks,
15
buddy.
odd years ago, man. So Rob Carpenter's an awesome guy. I don't know if you know him, personally, but he is.
It's a big deal if he's still up at 4 p.m. Central Time. I'm surprised he's not asleep.
That's true. He's eating dinner right now. He's probably eating dinner, and then he's gonna have his warm glass of milk and his crackers. And then he's
We love you,
Thanks,
Grandpa.
Bob. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's always nice when you hear good feedback from customers. It gives you it's just like you guys. When somebody says you did a good job, it gives you like a little kind of kick in your step. You want to, do it again, right? And then again and again. And so sometimes you need that positive feedback. We all do.
Absolutely.
Agree, man. Agree. Now, what we really want to know, though, I mean, like you said, behind the scenes is you don't do a lot of these because pretty much everyone wants to know the same thing about a SIN. You know what I mean? And we get that. If anyone out there knows who you are, if not, or knows what a SIN is, and if not, I don't know where you're going for your TMS. But like Hunter said, who are you, Tim? What really pushes you? And let's maybe start with, what brought you over here, from England?
Yeah, so my dad was an engineer. I'm not going to bore everybody to death, but he just felt that there was a better future in America than there was in the UK for me. So when I was 15 years old, we came over. He managed to get a green card because he was an engineer. He was one of those kind of jobs, if you will, where they said, if you were a doctor, nurse, engineer, you had basically the fast pass into America, and any kids you had under the age of 18 got to come with him. So I came with my parents, went into the 9th grade in South Carolina. And it was the first time in my entire life where I actually felt special because I got dropped into South Carolina, Lancaster, South Carolina, Bar Street Junior High School. There's a little English kid. And every single person in that school wanted to know me. I was invited to every party, every ball game. It was the first time in my life I got invited to anything. So, I was like, man, this is fantastic. And it was because of my cute little accent. And so my dad's contract ended and I always wanted to come back. So when I was 21, finished college, and I came back, with basically $100 in a dream. And now I've got $200 in a dream. So things worked out well.
Oh my God. Oh man, that's so good. That's so good, man. It's $200 in a dream. That's the best one I've heard, man. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna steal that from you, Tim, man.
Yeah, and and I try and help others. I've done really well in the States. I've done exceptionally well, and I'm an investor in some other small businesses. Over the years, I'm close to retirement. Even though I'm 57 this year, but in the next 3 or 4 years, I'll probably retire. And I've invested in several businesses. One, Shipper CRM. They launch officially this coming Tuesday, actually. It's the world's largest database of shippers, shipper profiles and leads, verified customer contacts, verified phone numbers and emails. So, those guys, I was a lead investor there. And there's several other things I invest in because I really want to try and help, these companies that are kind of the founders are starting out. There's a lot of 25-year-old kids that, they were brokers or asset carriers and they've got an idea. A lot of the ideas that come to me are terrible, and I'll tell them terrible. I'm like, listen, don't waste your 401k money or don't spend grandpa's money on that idea. It's not a good idea because I've been in this business for so long. But every 50 or 100 ideas somebody's got is a good idea. And if the good idea matches with a really good personality and they're a go-getter, then I'll be like, you know what, I'll throw you some money and I'll invest in that. And my investments have done pretty well for me, if I'm honest.
Well, that's good, man. You're making the best of that $200, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd like to turn it into $300.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Hey, Tim, I mean, are you naturalized citizen now, or?
Yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen. I have 2 passports, so I've got the American passport and my British passport. And it used to be great before this whole, mess with terrorism and all this new technology, that's at the port of entry, for customs. I used to be able to just take both passports with me, and I'd see which line was the shortest, and I would just go down that line. But now, if you leave the country with your American passport, you have to come back with your American passport. You can't switch them because they know that you've left the country. That was only 10 years ago that they started to say, excuse me, you can't use this different passport to come back in because they match up with the technology they have between all the different governments. But yeah, I do have my British passport just in case the American government want to draft me into the army. I'll have another passport so I can leave the country. Although I don't think they really want 57-year-olds fighting anymore. I think I'd be pretty slow on the front lines.
Oh man. So hey, when after or when you came here, man, I'm looking at your profile, and you really do have quite an interesting background. You said that you have a degree in computer science, was it, Tim? Was that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and all
computer science.
oh, sorry, what computer science?
Yeah, economics and computer science.
Economics. Oh my gosh, dude, I praise you, bro. I took macroeconomics for one semester, and it was the dumbest decision I ever, or microeconomics. I was like, man, I so should not have done this. I should have just took regular economics and just been done with it, man. I applaud you for that. So, but I see, man, that you went over into North Carolina, actually, made the jump over the border, and I guess you started this company IRC, and we're kind of dabbled in the insurance and the financial services industry. Is that kind of what catapulted you into the next step with the the logistics stuff, or like how did that transition kind of make its way?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are a lot younger than me, but if you go back into 1995, I started a company called IRC, Insurance Resource Center, and essentially the internet was this brand new thing, just like you hear about new technologies all the time. The internet browser was like so new that when you looked at a web page at the time, everything was left justified. Everything was pushed over to the left. There was no center tag or right justification. It was all just shoved to the left. And it was nothing, I mean, if you were to if you were to download like a picture, it would come in like over the telephone lines. Literally, it would come in like a line at a time. And so at the time, insurance agents, they were, if you went into an insurance agent and said you wanted an auto quote or you wanted a home quote for your home, then they would go into 5 different green screen type systems or orange screens, whatever, and they would type in your name, your address, all of the information about your car would get typed into, say, the Aetna website, and then they would go into another, not website, Aetna screen, and then they would go into another green screen for, say, Safeco, and another one for Travelers, and they typed the same crap 5 times to get you 5 quotes. So we realized that there's this thing called, the web browser and the internet, invented by Al Gore, apparently, and it allowed you to be able to present a screen in front of the insurance agent, and they would type your information once, and then we would go in the background to those 5 different screens, in their AS400s or their mainframe systems. So the insurance agent loved it. They could type the stuff once, get 5 quotes. The customer was happy because they weren't there for an hour; they were there for 10 minutes. And so we grew that company. We built some of the first ever websites for these big insurance companies and provided them with the ability to get quotations more easily and more quickly and more accurately. And so I built that company. I started in 1995, and not 3 years later, April the 16th, 1998, I sold the company and did very well out of that deal. And I realized that this thing called the internet was basically the beginning of something big. I didn't know how big it was going to be. Nobody did. But if you guys could turn the clock back, that 30 years or so, man, if we could all just go back in time, you'd probably all be in diapers. You two, certainly you would have.
I would have been in my daddy's ball sack at that point.
I remember, Tim, I remember having a conversation with my dad. My dad used to be real big into day trading, and I don't know the specific term, but like short-term trading, over the course of a few days, a week, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember him telling me a story, I don't know, after 2000, about how he had a buddy who was telling him, Bob, you really need to invest in this company, Yahoo. They're going to be big. They're doing some really great things, you know. And my dad is a baby boomer. He was born in the mid 50s, you know, and he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
stuff never going to take on. AM radio kicks ass. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he told me, he's like, man, like, that's probably one of the dumbest not investing decisions I ever made. He's like, because he's like, I would be so ridiculously rich because, you know, Yahoo, their shares were like, you know, $10 when they dropped as an IPO. So no, I remember all that, man. I was born in '84, so I watched the internet really from the start for the most part, as far as its, you know,
Yeah.
commercialization and stuff. But
Yeah. So well, I had so many people, man, that they would tell me that there was no future in this internet thing. It was going nowhere. You're wasting your time. You know, so this is by the older fuddy duddies. People that were 20 years older than me were telling me that the internet is going to just be worthless. You know, same with like smartphones. I mean, at the time, you know, back in the day, everybody had these tiny little Nokias, and then people got flip phones. They were not smart at all. And people say, you know, nobody would, that texting thing is useless. Who's going to text? Why would you spend all that time texting a message to somebody when you can just call them? And so I have to remind myself sometimes that I'm now the old guy. So at my age, I have to look at people like Hunter here, or look at other young people that are talking about AI and machine learning. And I have to stop myself from saying, okay, that's not going to work. That's so much crap, because that's what I was told 30 years ago. So I try to remember that I'm now the old fuddy-duddy, and I'm trying not to be negative. So when I look at these young kids and I look at these investment ideas that they've got, I try to remind myself that, you know, they're where I was 30 years ago. And now some of them will be using this new technology and they'll make a fortune out of it. You've just got to figure out, you know, which technologies are going to be there in 30 years. And AI certainly, and machine learning to some degree, is going to be part of that. I don't know how, but it is going to all happen over the next 30 years. And I'll be dead and buried, and my kids will be the ones, you know, running these companies. So I just have to remind myself that, you know, I'm the old guy now, not the young guy anymore.
Well, no, it's funny you say that. So I was talking with one of our buddies that we just met last week, Dustin, about, you know, all the advancements in this industry, not just in this industry, but in the world in general. And you know, we're talking about, you know, the first show we ever had on here was about space freight, and that was when India landed the first piece of equipment on the south pole of the moon. And
Yeah.
everybody thought that was incredible. So out of a joke, you know, I was like, "Hey, man, let's do a segment on space freight." So this guy we're talking to is talking about space elevators, and you know, just in that conversation, I brought up the same thing. Like, dude, 30 years ago, people thought the internet was just a fluke. Oh, this will
Yeah.
never last. This will never do anything. And you know, in advance to that, like you're saying with smartphones, and now we're getting to the point of AI and technology, and people are just brushing it off like it's
Yeah.
just going to go away. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, like, really, in all of
95.
this,
Yeah,
it's
Hunter, 95% of all AI and machine learning today, 95+% is complete bullshit. But 5% of it isn't. And it's that
exactly
5%,
well, it's so
and it's
new. It's so new.
and yeah, just like the internet, 95% of it, you know, 30 years ago was complete crap, and it's all gone
Yeah.
away. But
Yeah.
5%, the ones that we use today, like online banking, who goes into a bank anymore? No, we go to online banking. You want to Venmo people money. That all uses web protocols to
Yeah,
send
you're gonna
money
use
around.
PayPal,
So,
Zelle. Now they got Zelle that's bank to bank
yep,
transfer. But
absolutely.
it's, I mean, but yeah, like yeah, I mean, you look 2, 3 years ago. There's a video that they had. It was someone did an AI video of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and he had like 17 hands, and his head was all discombobulated and crazy. But you look, you know, a couple years later this year, and it's yeah, it is scary. It is scary, but like you know, it shows him actually eating, and you
Yep.
know, it's like the internet, dude. Think about the internet 3 years in.
Yep. Yeah.
It
No,
was literally
everybody
just for blogs. Look
experimenting.
at Amazon when they first started. That guy was selling books. He was
Yeah.
selling books out of his fucking garage. Like it's nuts, but it's I don't I mean it's something that is out of our control at this point, but it's one of those things that it's going to be a tool for people in the coming generations. We just have to
Absolutely.
we have to
Absolutely.
use it right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
I mean,
feel I feel that, you know, we're at a point in technological advancement with our species that the the advancement and the evolution, or the advancement with new technology and the evolution of current and previous technology, is it's such a light speed rate that we're really getting to the point it's hard to keep up with all the new things that are coming out and understand stuff, like AI,
An
uh,
iPhone. Think about an iPhone.
yeah,
How
people.
often does a new iPhone come out?
I know, man. It's funny. I bought the S23 Galaxy or whatever, and then like 3 weeks fucking later, the S24 came out. Anyway,
I mean, dude, in 2005, a 12-inch flat screen TV would cost you $5,000. Now you can go on Black Friday and get a 75-inch for $300. And it's a smart TV. It connects to your internet. You can talk to it.
yeah. So
It's
I mean,
insane.
what my point was is, we're at the point that things are just moving so rapidly that it's hard to keep up with stuff. And once you think that you're ahead of the curve, you come to find out you're a half a mile behind. And there's a lot of misconceptions, I think, with how great new technologies are and stuff, and a lot of misconceptions on the way to use new technology. And we talked about AI. I use that as an example. People think of AI for the most part, they think of Chat GPT and, writing this or generating pictures. And I want to circle back to what you guys were talking about a moment ago about like the Venmo, the Zelle and stuff. AI has been around for so fucking long, but people don't know that. Like, AI is over a decade old. I mean, probably older than that. It is used in all sorts of things, money transactions and webs, like Tim, you're talking about website design and interactions and stuff. And so, point is we are at a point in our species that I mean, things are just evolving so quickly, and you start to wonder when how fast things are going to start to become obsolete. Hunter, say what you're going to say real quick, and then I have something I want to ask Tim before I forget.
Okay. Well, just kind of running off all of this, like how it works. So I'm checking out Ascend. I've never used Ascend, but I'm looking at Ascend's LTL system. How in the hell do you guys get rid of the rebills?
Yeah. So in real in short, you can get rid of anything as long as you've got a contract with the carriers to say that you can not have rebills and reways. So what we what we do is we don't even have so okay, classification of freight, right?
Sure.
Nobody knows. Your typical person doesn't know how to classify freight. Is it a 150, 172? They don't know that. So we went to all of the carriers and we basically said, look, 99% of the people out there don't want that. If you want their business, get rid of that. Just do dimensional pricing, where it's so many inches, and a certain weight. And as long as it's within a tolerance level, if you say something is 100 pounds, but it's 5,000 pounds, that's blatant lying, right?
Right.
If you say it's 100 pounds, it's 111, then there's a tolerance level there, so let that go. So what we do is we say, look, as long as you're telling the truth about the freight that you're putting in there, you won't get a rebill and you don't have to put the classification is. But if you are clearly lying, yes, you will get a rebill and you better pay for it. Otherwise, we're going to turn the LTL off for you because you're clearly just a liar. And we find that most people tell the truth. They might be a couple of inches off on the dimensions and a few pounds off on the weight. But at the end of the day, the carriers say, look, we don't really mind. It's just the blatant liars we want to keep out.
Right. Well, with that, I mean, because I like LTL. Rob hates LTL. One of our buddies, Ryan, likes LTL as well. And I'm with you as long as you're giving the right information, it makes
Correct.
sense. But when it comes to you've gotten all the right information, the bill of lading matches up with the information you gave them, everything goes fine. But let's talk about, and this might not be in this sector, but you give them the pickup times, you give them the delivery times, which I've used, separate platforms that are kind of the same deal, which I might oh well, I not I might I'm absolutely gonna check this out because I love this. I've used um a platform that Roadrunner created, but you give them the pickup times, delivery times, the weights right, the classifications correct, but then they still come back and they hit you with that rebill. They pick something out. They say, "Oh, well, our driver couldn't pick this up on time, or our driver couldn't make this delivery on time. So we're going to charge you with this storage and a redelivery fee." And then you go to deal with the claims on it, and it takes you weeks. And your customer's
Yeah, I
pissed
know.
because you can't bill your customer, and you're having to deal with this. And it seems like, I mean, I've had some instances like Southeastern, love them. I had a representative right here in Nashville, Tennessee, Arc Best, have had a relationship with one of their VPs. Love using them. But some of these cats, like, dude, when UPS got bought out by T-Force, my God, throw up in my mouth. Roadrunner, throw up in my mouth. They lost a pallet for a month, and I didn't find out until a month later that this
Yeah.
pallet never
Uh,
showed up.
we,
And it's,
we built our LTL system as an accommodation to our customers because they asked for it. So the vast majority of the people that use Ascend, it's all truckload. We moved 6.2 million or so loads
right.
last year through us. And so what they came to us for is to say, hey, I'm really a truckload carrier or a truckload broker, but my customer, the shippers, are asking me occasionally to move a pallet of this or 2 pallets. So what we did is we built our system to allow our customer to not have to leave Ascend, so they can move 50 truckloads and then a couple of pallets for a customer.
Right.
Now, as a shipper gets more and more LTL, they're better off. And we'll tell everybody, if you've got a huge amount of volume of LTL, go directly to the carriers themselves and negotiate rates directly with them, because that's how you're going to get your best deal.
All right.
So we got good deals with our carriers, because if you take all of our thousands and thousands of customers that use our system, tens of thousands of customers every day that use Ascend,
Mhm.
they're all little small businesses. Ernie moves a couple pallets a week, and Sarah moves 3 or 4 pallets a month. But if you combine all that together, we become a pretty big player for a lot of these carriers. So we
Exactly. And
consolidate
that's
those.
another thing I was getting, because me as a broker, I can go to I forget what the name of the website is, but it was owned by Roadrunner, and you could get your blanket contract rates with all of the major players, and then
Yeah.
you could send out, offers to some of the more regional carriers and everything, and it was great. It was great, but the downfall of it all is we were still working with those blanket rates. So like with you guys, the more people that you bring on, do you get more of those, I guess, um do you get better
Yeah, you get
rates
discounts.
than
Yeah.
others?
So you get, so a carrier will say, listen, if you're going to send me 100 loads, 100 LTL orders a month, this is the rate. But you send me 10,000, this is the rate. Because 10,000, now you're a player. Now you're a Home Depot kind of
Yeah,
sized.
yeah, I mean, that's huge. That's when you're going direct. You're getting wined and dined by the cats at FedEx and
Yeah. But so if you pull all these SMB cats out there that use Ascend, or just because there's more SMB players out there than there are enterprise LTL
right.
shippers. But if you got to try and pull them together, and let's be honest, there's so many of these LTL portals out there, websites that I could name hundreds of them,
Yeah.
where they're all using the same APIs to connect. But just for the record, by the way, we don't even charge a brokerage fee. We are
I saw
connecting
that,
our
and I like
customers.
that. I like
We're
that.
not a broker. There's no fee. We're just connecting you to these, and you're riding on the volume of all of your friends around that are also doing LTL. And we don't even collect an LTL fee, a
Yeah.
brokerage fee.
Smart. And I do like that, because to your point, there are all these people out there that offer these TMS systems, like CH Robinson owns, well, not stepping on CH Robinson, not stepping on anybody's toes here, but they offer all these services, but at the end of it, there is always a little service fee that's stacked on top. And you're just
Well,
kind of
you like, so Freight Quote is owned by Robinson, so there's so many. There's the Unishippers of the world, and there's Blue Grace and
yeah.
Global Trans. All of these names, it's not a surprise, they're brokers, and so what they do, they sell a $400 LTL
Well, they
shipment.
utilize their data, they utilize their volume
Yeah,
just
and their cost is say 270, and so they're trying to keep that $130 themselves because they're a broker.
yep.
What we do is we say, hey, we're not going to charge you anymore. The carrier's charging us 270. No, we're not going to charge you 400. We're going to charge you the 270. Here's the
Oh, see,
fee.
that's good shit though, man. Because me as like a small guy, I know a dude down the street that ships custom made tables. Okay, and it's on one pallet. Well,
Yeah.
I go to Priority One or someone like that, and this guy's normally getting it shipped for $175, and I come at him at $300 as a family friend. That's egg on my face, and that makes me
Yeah.
look dumb, and that sucks. But I like this though, and I know Ascend is way more than that. I just saw that you guys had this LTL system, and that's incredible, man. Because LTL being as small as it is, and that's very business savvy. You're going after a full truckload. You know your market, but that is such a value add that people should know about. Rob, you should go and use some Ascend LTL
Fuck
business.
that, I don't want to fuck that shit. You keep that stuff. Fuck it. I mean, and honestly, dude, it's just I don't do enough of it, and so it's kind of like what you said, Hunter. The few people I've tried to do it with, like they're already doing it direct with 2 or 3 LTL carriers, and then I come and I use an external service that doesn't give me great volume rates or whatever, and then the feed thing, the rebill is the bullshit with me.
I
And
hate
and
that.
it, honestly, it's never the dimensions or the weight. It's always some crap. Like I have one customer that he shipped, I would say a decent amount, like 2 loads a month to a friend of his. Now the place is a business. It's a fucking business, but the building that is the office is an old house. So
Dude,
they
yeah.
charge a residential fee. And I cussed. I tell you exactly who it is. It was Saya, however the fuck you say their name. But I
Oh,
bitched that guy out. I said, this is sorry. I said,
it's
no, this
terrible.
is business. You pull it up on Google, it's a commercial business. The plate, it's a nursery, is what it is, a plant nursery. I was like, what kind of person is growing plants on that scale behind their house? I was like,
Yeah.
seriously now, come on. And then they tried, it's the whole lift gate fee. And it's like, dude, I hired you to use a lift gate.
Well, dude,
How are you
even
going to charge me on the back end? You don't charge me at the pickup for it, but you charge me at the delivery. And and another one, inspection fees. Like, what the fuck do you have to inspect? What do you have to inspect? All it is a box of this.
the busted
Yeah,
pallets that you're gonna charge me with.
bro, that's my thing, man. Is I don't know.
That is
It,
funny you brought that up though, because like, and Tim, sorry to go off on this LTL tangent. We'll leave it after this, but I do know even going direct for a customer to LTL, they'll charge you. It could be the most simple thing. Hey, I have a dock. You're delivering it 120 miles away to another dock, but someone that is running a smaller business, mom pop shop, that doesn't know that they don't know a box truck from a semi truck, but they're getting charged
Yeah.
with lift gate. They're getting charged with every single fee under the sun, and it's sad. But systems
Yeah,
like
well,
this,
so
they
let's be
could.
honest, a lot of these carriers make a lot of money off these ancillary fees. It's like going on an airline, the airline charges you a base rate for your flight, but man, they make a shitload of money on bags and overweight bags and you're 2 or 3 pounds over on your bag, and all of a sudden it's an extra $50. All that adds up. You do that a million times. If you charge a million customers a week, American Airlines charges a million customers a week, 50 extra bucks, they just made $50 million of free money because they were going to fly that bag anyway. It's the same with LTL, and they know that if they charge you $80 extra for something, are you going to really fight it? How much time will it take you to fight an $80 fee rather than just swallow it? Take the medicine, pay the $80, and move on with your day. And they know that. Now, if they charge you $800, you would fight it. But $80, no, you just pay it and move on, right? So they know that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not right though. That's not right. That's terrible. Give me the
I know
upfront
you seem
price,
angry,
like,
Hunter. We should start a movement.
it,
dude. I'll start a movement on this. I like LTL, dude, and I'm a weird freight guy. I love drayage, and drayage accessorials is one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world.
Yeah.
And Rob, I've already talked to Rob about this. We had another show shit, probably in our second, third month about cat scales. So you got a cat scale, they charge you maybe $18 max for a scale in and out. I had carriers charging me $200, or tried to at least,
No,
$200, $100 for a scale on lot, light scale in, and then the second scale heavy out,
yeah,
2 blocks away. 10
yeah,
minutes, 10 minutes away from the shipper. And they said,
yeah,
"Oh, it takes you 4 hours to get that shit done." No, it
yeah,
does not. I called
yeah.
them and there's nobody there. You're in the middle of fucking Indiana. Like, how many people are doing this? So it's really like I believe that
Everybody's
like
doing
this industry is easy, people make it hard. People
Yeah, I
make it
know.
hard. It's
Everybody's
like
doing
life.
it.
Life is easy, people make it hard.
It's same with lumper fees and detention, and he
Yeah.
said, she said often,
What even
and
is a
everybody's
lumper?
yeah,
You
everybody's
hire
trying to make
people for your
$6.
warehouse. You just have guys out there burning cigs, cranking meth all day long, just waiting to unload my truck for $500.
Yeah, don't even
Get
get me
out of
started about
here.
lumper.
There's no
Yeah, I know.
regulation of that.
You or something. It's a, oh my god, bro.
Am I wrong though?
I
Well, I
don't
don't know
know.
about the meth part.
I'm not a lumper. I don't know what kind of street pharmaceuticals they got being passed
All
around.
right. Well, that might have been a little. That's off the
It
record.
was funny though, bro. It was funny.
That's off the record.
If
All
they were
right.
all doing meth, there wouldn't be any lumper fees. They'd be moving so for that cargo on and off the truck so fast. There
I
would be
mean,
no
they're
problem.
there. They get it done pretty quick, but shit,
Oh,
I ain't paying $300 for 30 minutes of work.
man. I know.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
my
yeah,
drivers ask if they can run the forklift. Like, come on.
well, yeah. The guy that did the work, he gets $20, and the other, $280 goes to the shipper and the lumper service.
Mhm. Yeah. Adam's dad was a lumper. Hashtag boycott lumpers, Adam. Hashtag boycott lumpers.
I guess Lumper Appreciation Week's coming up. Shout out Reed Loosed a lot.
Yeah. All right. So hey, I wanna back it up. We got onto the LTL tangent and stuff like that. Totally cool. Hunter, I'm glad you brought that up. About Tim's platform doing that. I wasn't aware of that, but Tim, that is cool. I'll tell you. I mean, I agree. My whole reason for not doing LTL is all the rebills and the craziness and stuff that goes on with it. So
Ours is just an accommodation. We want somebody like you, Robert, to not have to say no to your customer, because now they say, hey, can you ship X, Y, and Z, from say Tampa to Chicago, these zip codes, 2 pallets. You can go into the system. You can say, yeah, that's $312, and you move it. Now they didn't have to go to another broker or another carrier. You keep that business. They're like, man, this is fantastic.
I'm actually going to talk to my boss about that right now, because I did not know y'all had that. That's incredible. It really is such a point of service.
I told you, dude. I told you, like, Ascend is some good shit, man. Like, it really is. It really, like, Tim, whatever his vision was when he started this thing, like, it is. He really, or you, Tim, you really brought it together. I mean, full circle on everything you have with Ascend. All right, going back, way back into time. The IRC, Tim, insurance. That's crazy, man. Oh shoot, sorry about that. Man, that's nuts. So how did the jump though from that realm like happen to logistics? I mean, those are two. I mean, like you couldn't get farther into the spectrum than that.
So true story. So my mother, when I was younger, she wanted me to either be like a doctor or a banker, an accountant, just like typical moms, right? They want their son or daughter to be some kind of professional. And so my mother said to me, and I was always writing computer games when I was a kid, and I had my first game published when I was 15 years old. And I saw it was commercial. We sold the game. It was called Quasimodo. It was a little Quasimodo swinging from, branch to branch. It was a really cool game. And she said, well, this is great, this computer thing, but, this is just a fad. Computers are not going to last. You need to go get a real job, in a real business that's going to last forever. And in her mind, banking, insurance, being a doctor, an accountant, those are the kind of things that never go away. They're the jobs that never end. And truck driver is another one, right? I mean, supply chain, now I know that. So I I became qualified in insurance. I became a chartered underwriter. I absolutely hated it. I started my career at Lloyd's of London. I graduated college, and most people, you have to take 10 examinations over 5 years, right, to become a chartered underwriter, like being a CPA, a chartered accountant, certified public accountant. And so I hated insurance so much. I did all 10 examinations in 2 years. I never failed any. And the day after I became qualified, I quit because I hated it. And I said, Mother, I said, I quit because I want to do this computer thing, but I'm now officially qualified in insurance. I'm a chartered underwriter. And if this whole computer thing doesn't work out, I can go back to the insurance business. But because I was qualified in insurance, the first code that I wrote was on this new thing called a web browser, the internet. And that's why we started writing code for insurance, because I was a qualified insurance person. So when I was calling up these big insurance agents and brokers and the insurance companies, they would say, "Oh, you're a qualified insurance person. Yes, we'll talk to you about this new thing called the internet." So I had an instant kind of respect, if you will, because I could speak the insurance language to them about this new thing called the internet. And that's how I started the company. And I sold it in 1998. We did very well. It's public record, look it up. But we sold the company for $28 million 3 years after we started it. And then over time, I started to learn more about logistics because I moved to Florida. You mentioned a plant nursery. I met my wife at the time, since ended, but she owned a plant nursery. And guess what? By the way, it was in an old home on 20 acres.
Yeah.
Literally, it was an old house on 20 acres, and she grew plants. Yeah, and so she said, "Hey, I use these things called freight brokers, and the trucks show up, but they never know where they're going. They'll never have the right paperwork." I'll never forget. It was a broker called Lighthouse Brokerage, and so I said, "Well, do you have like Microsoft Excel on your computers in your house nursery?" And she said, "Well, yeah." So I brought up Excel and I started writing code using what's called macros that made what I now know is a really crude, rudimentary TMS platform. And all it would do is when the trucks would show up, we'd say, "Oh, what truck number are you?" And we'd look, and he would say, "Okay," and it would print the paperwork out, and it would tell them what field to go in to go get loaded, and then it would tell the guys down at the field number 4 at the shed, they could look online and they could see what they were loading into the back of that truck, so we didn't have to walk all the way down to field 4. And then some of the other nurseries around there would say, "Oh, when are you going to Atlanta again?" And we'd say, "Well, we go to Atlanta on Tuesdays and Thursdays." "Oh, well, can you pick up some stuff here?" And we'd put that into the computer system. And so now it wasn't just her stuff getting filled up in the truck. Now we were going 2 miles down the street to go pick up Betty's stuff. And then Ernie would call up, and "When are you going to Charleston, South Carolina next?" And we start doing load to ride. We'd do half a truck here, quarter of a truck there, and another quarter of a truck there. And then we'd stop in Atlanta, and then we'd go over to Birmingham, and then the truck would come back again. So it all started over several years by complete mistake. And here I am today, because of, one happenstance leads to another, to another, to another. And today, I now have this TMS company, but it all just happened over like a 25-year period.
So before I ask this next part, ask the next question, I just want to say, Hunter, did you realize how Tim lit up when he started talking about this? Like his excitement.
Hey, I just want to say, I just found out that one of our LTL providers charges 35% on top. So coming over to your side of life there, Tim. That's my God. How sad is that?
Tim,
But yeah, you should be excited. I'm excited about Tim, dude. It sounds tight. Like,
dude, I tried.
Tim's. I mean, you do sound Australian. I'm still convinced that you're South African, but
Dude, hey, Hunter, I've told you, I tell everybody, man, like in the Facebook group that I run, I have a Facebook group mostly of carriers and brokers, Tim. It's got like 44,000, 45,000 people in it. But we have a lot of people that ask questions, who do you factor with? Who do you do this with? Who do you do TMS with? Man, and I never provide a list. It's always a sin, Tim. So I mean, I just want you to know that, dude. I know we keep giving you compliments, but 100. My point
Well, and
is,
I
100.
appreciate that, you know, and listen, it happened just the other day. There was an online thing with somebody, and I said, look, you know, try Ascend. I said, because, you know, no shame. I said, look, we're free. Try us out for 3 months on me, 3 months, and if you don't like it, just go pay somebody else for another TMS. But if you like our TMS for 3 months, then you can keep using it. We give it up to a 1-year trial for free. And so I tell people all the time, don't pay big bucks to somebody that you're not sure if you're going to like the software. Anybody you go to nowadays, ask them for a free trial. And if you're not going to get a free trial, then don't use them, because that means that the people that are trying to sell you their shit, they know it's not going to be good because they want their money up front. So
That's like
I'll tell anybody, try Ascend for 3 months for free on me. And if you want another 3 months, after that, just call me up or send me a LinkedIn message, because I truly believe in what we have, and I don't want people wasting their bloody money.
Yeah, I love it, Tim. I mean, I don't know. I like how hyped up you are about your business, and you know, people would say, oh, well, you always should be hyped up about your stuff, but I mean, you know, some people just get into things because they see a possibility of making money, you know, and then there's those other people that get into stuff because, and this is how I feel about you. Just talking with you over the show is, Tim's, you're one of those people that you see a problem and you're like, how can I use my knowledge, my education, my experience to provide a solution to this problem? And I really look up to people like that, because my dad was a home inspector for 30 years. Dude, he started out as a manager at Arby's, and then he went into the construction industry, talked to a guy that was a home inspector, and that's how I fell into it. But my point is my dad always said the way you build a successful business is you find something someone needs or a problem that needs solved, and you provide the solution to either one of those. And as long as it's a problem that you can solve efficiently and be good at solving, you're forever going to grow and you're forever going to have business.
And you miss something there. You do not rip them off while you're serving them. So many people try to charge too much money, like, you know, the 35% on an LTL, you know, order. That's just too much money, you know. So I joke all the time, you know, we are very profitable here. We've got no debt, but you know what? We're professionals at picking up dimes. We pick up a lot of dimes. And so all those dimes add up. Could we charge double, triple, quadruple the price? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't need to make more money. I'm already happy with the money we're making. So, you know, I'm going to continue to pick up dimes. And I'm a professional picker-upper of dimes because I don't rip people off.
I love that.
That's
All
so.
right.
I
Oh,
love
go
that.
ahead, brother.
I love that. I'm just saying, dude. You go through a drive-through. You pay for cash. Your buddies pays for cash. You get a couple double cheeseburgers. Well, you get that receipt with the quarters and dimes in there, and you hand it to them. They're like, "No, you can keep that." Okay, I'll throw it in my ashtray. You know what happens? I end up at the end of the month with like an extra $50 in my pocket, and it's not that big of a deal, you know. But it's like, it's smart though. Yeah, I mean, dude, I love that you have your main service for, you know, but like, we haven't even gotten to the tracking side of it yet. I saw that you provide tracking. That is
Yeah.
like, that's the American dream on this, dude. Like,
Hunter, hold on. We're building up. I keep trying to build up to this. And you're so excited, god damn it. Like, I keep trying to
sorry,
build up.
sorry. I'll shut up now. I'll shut up now.
Damn, Hunter.
I guess it's Ascend isn't that cool.
No, I've got one more question and then my final question. All right, Tim. We're going back to the nursery thing, man. For one, I want to say that is a cool story. Like, seriously, and I think it's funny how that related to what I was saying. Like, that's so ironic.
Yeah.
But so, you know, you were doing this thing for them, you know, was it a, you know, man, I see money in this and something to be made, or was it, you know, man, this logistics stuff is like really cool and I see a way to make money, solve a problem, and help people out, you know, what was it that kind of gave you that push to keep doing what you're doing that ended up being where you're at now?
Yeah, at first it was nothing to do with money because I had no idea. I didn't know how many, you know, wheels on an 18-wheeler, you know, so I literally was making this crap up as I went. I would go down, you know, to the nursery to help this girl out because, you know, I mean, I liked her. But I didn't know what a freight broker was. I didn't know what, you know, asset carriers were, what the difference between brokerage and asset. All I knew is that I wanted to impress her. And so So I was solving a problem. And then the money, once we solved the problem and some of the other nurseries came and said, hey, can you go over to these other towns and pick up stuff and then deliver to these metro areas? Then I realized, oh, okay, so I could start, or we could start a business. So we started, the company was called Interstate Plant and Tree was the name of our nursery. So we started another division called Interstate Transport. And we got an MC number and we did it all legitimately because, we were literally picking up other people's crap. And the only reason we called it Interstate is quite simply, there was only 3 phone lines coming into the bloody building. And so if somebody was on the phone, or so the back office girls were on the phone talking and they were selling palm trees or little, I don't know, petunias or whatever the heck it was they were growing, if they would just answer the phone, interstate. And if it was a trucking thing, they'd send it to my extension. And if I picked up the phone and somebody wanted to buy some palm trees, which I knew nothing about, I would just send it to their extension. So that's the only reason it was called Interstate, because we were making this crap up as we went. And 2 years later, Home Depot came to us and said, hey, listen, we ship a lot of stuff out of Florida. Can you help us? We have a really hard time when produce is running out of Florida between, let's call it mid-March and kind of mid-June. And so they gave us the entire state of Florida to move all of their live goods freight all over the country for Home Depot. And then that led to Lowe's, and Walmart came to us, and we just became really big because we solved a problem, just for a few little growers around the Tampa area.
Tim said, I just faked it till I made it.
That's
I
the
love
name of
that.
the game.
I know, I love that. All right, Tim, to round everything out, man. So from there, what led you to think of Ascend to design it? Was it, where you're at with the whole nursery thing? You're like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. I know how to do this, or was it something else?
Yeah, no. So in real simple terms, I mean, you know what Salesforce is, right? And HubSpot, they're basically CRMs, or customer relationship management software systems. But there's nothing to download. You don't get a CD and put it and load any code on your computer. Salesforce, was the first one to have this CRM, on a browser. You didn't need to do anything except you went to this website, you put in your user ID and password or create an account. They gave you like 30 days free to try it, and you had a CRM. Well, before then, there was Goldmine and Act and several of these other software packages that you would buy in an actual physical store called CompUSA. Now, the CompUSA and other stores, they don't even exist anymore. But Salesforce killed those retail stores and Act and Goldmine, these CRM systems, because they were so much easier and cheaper to get into. So I realized with this internet thing, listen, these TMSs out there, the McLeods, the TMWs, the Mercury Gates, they're fantastic systems. They're really good. To this day, they're very good systems and run a lot of businesses, but they're expensive, and they required full IT teams. So I said, let's try and use this web browser and create the equivalent of Salesforce, but for truckers and for brokers and for shippers, so they can use this thing called the internet, and they don't have to spend $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 on software. They go to www.thefreetms.com and they can use a software system that is tailored for them. They can switch on or off any of the services they need or don't need. If they don't need rail, they just turn off all the rail crap, and there's no crap on their screen because you don't ship rail. If you don't do air cargo, turn off the air cargo stuff. If you're an asset-based carrier and you don't do any brokerage, you don't need all the Ascend brokerage features. Just turn the brokerage features off, and then all your screens don't have brokerage crap all over them if you're only an asset-based carrier. And so we did that, and man, the word spread really quickly, and people came to us. 8 months after we started, we were profitable, and we've never had an unprofitable month since that time in 2015.
That's nuts. And Adam, I pulled this up earlier, but I didn't see it, so it was late. But Adam bounced off what I said earlier, Tim. It's absolutely true what I said. He tells anyone not using a TMS to try Ascend, man. I mean, I know, people use your stuff, but
yeah,
I just want you to see, man, people love what you're doing, Tim, man. You and your team. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Yeah, it's not just me. I mean, it's the entire team, and people like Adam and you guys. You you keep us wanting to keep moving forward, because we're not building this, for the big enterprise customers out there. We're building it for the little mom and pop guys, the guys where it's a husband and wife team and a brother, or a husband and wife and a daughter or a son that work together. Our average number of users in a Ascend account is 2.8 people. So that doesn't mean we've got, two tall people and one person that's only 8/10 high. On average, it's about 3 people per account. So these are true mom and pops. Now we have companies with 30, 40, 50 users, but we have a lot more with 2 people. So it might be like Hunter and his, wife or girlfriend or son and daughter. And so we do this for them, where they have 1 or 2 customers in a small town in middle America. That's who we go after, and that's what drives me. I'm so passionate about that.
I'm glad that you are, and Tim, and I see that, man. I've seen that from the first time, and we go back to the few times that you've touched on, talking about how expensive some of these other systems are. They are, and all of them are designed for scale to enterprise level. Every one of them,
Yep.
and to be honest with you, a small brokerage or a small carrier has no need for Aljex or Manhattan or any of these other things
Yeah.
out there. And
Yep.
it's they people say a lot in our industry, as far as when you're a broker and moving freight and a carrier and stuff, is find your market, find your niche, and exploit it, not in a bad way, but exploit it to help people and to help yourself and make money and stuff. And it's fantastic that's where you're at. And I feel that you found that very quickly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you ran with that. And it's special, dude. I mean, you really
The,
are.
the vast majority of our customers, they don't want to be C.H. Robinson or J.B. Hunt. The vast majority, what they want is to be able to support their families, make a couple of $100,000 a year, pay out their mortgage, have 2 reasonably new cars, and not worry about their bills. That's the typical customer of Ascend. And that is the American dream, right? Not having to worry about your bills, paying off all your debts. And that's who we cater to.
Man, that's amazing, Tim.
The
You
American
are,
dream, man.
I know, or I hope that you know this, that you are the American dream, especially for people who come over here from other countries, man. I
Yep.
mean, your dad started this with you,
Yep.
4 decades ago, and said, man, like, if my family's going to do great and be great, we're going to have things, we need to go to the land of opportunity. And you came back, Tim, and you did. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I appreciate most about people who come over here, and I know England, we have a great relationship with them, and it's not like it came from some third world country. But my point is folks that come over here and they build stuff and they make a life and they make a dream and they help other people. I think that is absolutely amazing, man. And you've done that, Tim. You've come over here, and in the decades that you've been here, brother, I don't know if you've ever sat back and thought about it. Maybe you have, but if not, when you get off here, ponder how many people and companies that you've helped since you came back over here, Tim, and the folks that you've been able to help prosper and be successful by you being who you are as a human being, but also realizing that your intelligence, your knowledge, your experience can't only just help you, it can help so many other people. And Dale Prax, we absolutely love Dale Prax. What he said is the target market is small guys, and so many people forget that. And Tim, you're one of those people who has it, man. You and your team and all the companies that you're a part of, man. I really understand now that that's what you're about, is helping the smaller people, and that's incredible, man. Because like Dale said,
Thanks,
a lot
man.
of
Yeah,
people, a
I,
lot of
I love Dale Price. Dale's a great guy. He's got his heart in the right place. He's an outstanding gentleman. And I
man,
will say that probably 80 to 90% of the people that listen to your show, or watch your show, or listen to your show, either their parents were either immigrants or their grandparents were immigrants at some point, right? So all of those parents or grandparents came over here to provide a better opportunity for their own kids and their grandkids. And so, Hunter, you were saying that, you've got a heritage from Germany, right? there's a lot of people that came to this country. You are a true blue, red-blooded American, but your parents and grandparents, they were the ones that had the dreams for you so that you could live that American life, just like my parents did.
Oh
So
yeah.
I would rather, financially, I've done very well for myself, but I don't want to get greedy and take all the money. I'd rather just be happily rich and give everybody else the opportunity to also do very well themselves. Because I think sometimes people get too greedy and they don't want to spread the love and they want to take all the money for themselves. And it's like a winner takes all. It should not be a winner takes all. It should be the winner takes enough, and the rest of the money should go to your customers so that they can stay in business.
See, Tim, you just, I know you didn't see it, but you just proved Dale's point. He says one of Tim's greatest attributes is how he makes a conscious effort to pay it forward. Damn, Dale, you called it, brother. You freaking called it, man.
And I didn't tell Dale to come on this show, by the way, just so you know.
Hey, no, we love Dale, man. We saw him at Matt's when he was laying down the truth with CDLU, Freight Validate.
Yeah, the guy's a rock star, man. I love that guy.
If anybody's gonna conquer the freight fraud in America, my personal opinion, it's gonna be Dale Prax.
Yeah,
Freight Validate.
Dale has been a great supporter of the show, and he has become a great friend. Meeting him in person was absolutely amazing. He's just a genuine salt of the earth guy.
Even though he wouldn't sell us his badass house in East Tennessee. Yeah, okay, I mean that's. I mean, what is 800? You know, what's a couple mil? I mean, come on, man. It could have been a great spot. We could have had a whole new truck show there.
I love. Oh man, so that's I don't know, Tim. We love your story, brother. I really do, man. I really do. You know, it's I love I'm a big bootstrap kind of guy, man. I know that term is a lot overused, but you know, my own family, you know, my grandmother, you know, God rest her soul, she worked for Southwestern Bell for over 2 decades. She, for most of her life, was a single mom to 5 children, and every one of her kids do very well for themselves, you know, across a variety of industries, you know, have built businesses themselves, and you know, all of that comes in. My grandma, she grew up with 5 siblings in a 2-bedroom farmhouse on 50 acres, you know, so from where she started to where, you know, her children and now her grand and great children is, you know, she started that and built that. And, you know, I think that's amazing when people find a need and a niche and they work towards it and they build something for themselves and they build something for other people, you know,
for the right reason.
Yes. Yeah. And Tim, you said it, man. You know, it's hey, I don't need all the money. You know what I mean? I've got what I want, and I need to find a way to share with other people and not allow, but help other people make money and be profitable in their business.
Well, I was helped along the way too. So, you know, I remember, you know, many times when I was in my 20s and 30s, you know, people helped me. And so, you know, it's my turn to help others. And you guys yourselves, you will help others as time goes on. And you pay it forward, you pay it back. And at the end of the day, if you're going to make money, you may as well make it the honest way. And you better, you know that the money that's in your bank, you know, you can smile because you didn't do it in a nefarious way. It's honestly earned. And if you earn your money honestly, then you can sleep well at night. And that's how I live my life. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of people hit me up after this. You know, if I don't know how many people watch your show, but I get, you know, 2 or 3 LinkedIn messages a day, people with ideas or, you know, looking for investment. And I encourage them all. It doesn't mean I'm going to give you an investment, but it means I'll honestly talk to you. I will honestly take a look at your idea. And I'll even tell you if it's a bad idea, in my opinion, because I don't want you wasting all of your retirement 401k money and borrowing money on a bad idea. But if it's a good idea, I'll tell you. And if it's a really good idea, like Shipper CRM, you know, I might even get my checkbook out.
Hey, I keep my tens of dollars underneath my mattress. So I don't need a 401k.
So man, I don't know. That's just amazing, Tim. Everything that you do and everything you are is really good shit. And right now, viewers, I'm showing 72 on my screen. That does not count LinkedIn. We're 21 on LinkedIn, so we're hovering close to 100 now. our after views will be well into the hundreds and hundreds, possibly near 1,000. So,
But to get outside the viewers, Tim, to your point, man, it is more about, I don't know. I say it's homies helping homies. Like,
yes,
you have something really
yeah,
great going on. We're just here to project it. And
yeah.
we're not like one of those, like, I don't care about bots. We don't care about viewers or whatever it is. But if we have a tight knit community of people that are doing the right thing for the right reason, and that it could be 10 people, it could be 5 people, it could be one single person like you
Yeah,
or Dale or anybody. If
I
we can
agree.
help them get that message out, and it helps make one tiny ripple in the entire universe of logistics, then that's all that matters to us.
It's the Logistics Lounge Collective.
It
That's
is.
what it is. That's what it is. We that's honestly, Tim, that's like we told you backstage, the whole thing of our show is just getting people on here and just being them and putting out their message or their business or whatever it is, and helping folks that we align with their vision and their business or their beliefs, and trying to further the message,
Yeah,
and
and that
you know
good karma will come back, and it'll pay you back. If you put the good karma out into the universe, where I don't want to get into a religious discussion, but if you put good karma out, just generally speaking, then good shit will happen to you over time. And I'm sure that eventually, sometimes shippers will watch this and they'll say, you know what, I like those guys, and they seem like honest, hardworking guys. And John Rogers, who I talked to just earlier today, he does a lot of LinkedIn posts, and he gets customers, shippers see his posts, and obviously he posts enough that they feel like he's an honest guy and a good guy, and he gets shippers from LinkedIn because they see that crap. And over time, he builds trust. And because he's got trust, then they say, here, try a load. Here's another couple loads, 5 loads, 10 loads. And he builds customers through that trust he builds. And that's what you're doing. You're building a collective of trust. Because if I was a shipper wanting to give my freight to some guys, I couldn't think of anybody better to give it to than to you two, because I feel like you would take good care of my freight. And if something went wrong, you'd be honest with me and tell me what went wrong. And that's the collective. That's what you're doing.
Man, we appreciate that, brother. Like, seriously, man, that's a huge compliment, Tim, and it is. That's all the point is. It's to build a collective of people in our industry that want to make change or are working towards making change, or are just already making change in the industry, and have good things and good points and good stuff to put
Yeah.
out there, and that's what it is. A
We
lot
just support what we believe in, but
yeah.
also watch out for Lounge Lizard Logistics coming out in 2026. We're gonna have some sick trucks. It'll be great.
That's true. That's awesome.
All
Hunter,
right, guys.
do you have any closing or other questions for Tim?
No other questions besides Tim. When can we have you back on? First of all, because you are a plethora of knowledge. Actually, I
Yeah.
have two questions. I have a follow-up question. Also, where can I get that picture you have behind you for my wall back here?
I'll send you a screenshot of it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
have
Is
it
that like
and
one
have
of
it
those
and
NFT
have it
type
framed.
deals? Can I just screenshot it and now it's mine, so you have to send it to me? Is that I think that's how that works.
I'll be happy to be on your show again. Next time, I like the little piece you did, where you looked at the news. Sometimes I do the freight caviar thing, with them on a Friday morning where they
Sure.
go through the news items. And so, yeah, that's kind of cool, to sometimes the news items that you discuss could be serious. And sometimes, they just might be funny, or you can put a funny take on it. So I'll be more than happy if you want to do this again sometime and go through a few news items. And yeah, we can have some fun.
Absolutely. Well, outside of that, Tim, thank you for being on here. Thank you for what you're doing, and
My
thank
pleasure.
you for being you and being a
My
great
pleasure. That's
addition
going to
to
make me
this.
cry.
Oh man, it wouldn't be the first time. Jeff had to cry a few times and left like 3 or 4 times. It was weird, but we let him back on. And then he got drunk with his horses, got some weird videos. I don't want to talk about it, but nah, man.
Oh,
Thank you.
dude, you know what we never did? We never told Tim how we met. He
Oh
asked us
Yeah, how
man.
that.
did you meet? Oh, yeah, I asked you that just before we went on air. How did you guys meet?
Okay, so back in 2001, I was 6 years old. Rob was 16. So we were down in uh, Tupelo, Mississippi. I was working hard in the fields, and Rob was actually riding a horse, and he was riding around giving me my Kool-Aid for my breaks. And so from there, we actually came into a great discussion about Hot Wheels because Rob's a big car guy. Well, I came up with this great idea about cars being pulled by horses. Well, as a 6-year-old, I didn't know about Amish people at the time. So we actually skedaddled out of the farm in Tupelo, Mississippi, and went down to Guatemala, where unfortunately they don't have a whole lot of horses. So we
Or
came
Hot
across
Wheels.
an alpaca farm. Okay. So from there, I was about 14 at the time. I don't know how old Rob was at that moment in time, but the alpaca fur game was not going too well. We were trying to sell socks and t-shirts, and you can't make stickers out of alpaca fur, so we actually opened up a version of SeaWorld but with alpacas swimming. So have you ever heard of alpaca high diving?
Oh man, there is nothing better. That I believe that's going to be a new Olympic event at the France Olympics this
Well,
summer. The alpaca diving, high diving.
it got shut down. It caught some traction in Tijuana around 2014, but the legalities of it, some guy lost his whole butt, if you can imagine, in Tijuana. It was weird. It was weird, but
And those alpaca
um
hooves, man, they can be kind of sharp. Yeah, but coming down at 100 miles an hour, you hit a butt cheek with that hoof, man, it'll take a butt right off.
yeah. So as you can imagine, early June, July of last year, we started talking space freight, like how high can we make these alpacas dive? So I mean, but you got to think about weight, and I mean, obviously gravity doesn't exist. The earth is flat, and
Oh, fucking
we
Christ.
created a logistics lounge from there. So I mean, you got to have trucks to go to the moon with the alpacas, and um,
You know, it's
yeah.
funny because if somebody would have asked me earlier, like how I could have guessed that you guys met, that's the exact story that I would have told.
It's all true. Hashtag we love alpacas.
It's only freight. It was only alpacas at some point, but it's only freight.
Don't get upset.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Best story I've heard all week, all month.
Well,
Tim,
come next week.
when we get off this show, Tim is going to DM us. He's like, "Here's a friend of mine. They're a mental health specialist. I advise you call them."
Yeah.
My wife, after this, she's going to ask me how the show went, and I'm going to say, "Man, let me tell you a story about alpacas."
Hey, if she does tune in, make sure she follows.
I know that she will. Yeah, she will. I'll make sure of it.
Tim,
Sir.
Tim, do you have any closing comments, any words of wisdom, anything you want to touch back on but before we get off here?
No, I will say that this has probably been one of the most fun shows I've ever done. Usually, they're quite serious things, and yeah, no. So I enjoyed the one with Freight Caviar. Those guys are going over the news and stuff. But yeah, man, that alpaca story, man. Next week you might have 102 or 103 viewers. That the word is going to spread. That was so good.
We're all of a sudden going to be trending in the alpaca farming community on YouTube and TikTok. We're not going to have any idea why.
This kind of content is good because I would imagine quite a few of your viewers are either they're driving right now or they're at an office their job, and this is kind of good. It's kind of like a radio content. This is like your morning drive to work content, but
It's
in the
the happy
afternoon.
hour version.
That's
the happy hour version.
That's the point of it. So we do it at the end of the day because, as we say, you're already on the internet bullshit and just waiting for 5 o'clock to come around. Why not come spend it with us in the logistics lounge? And we have all kinds of people listening, like Dad of Two Roadside. He's a predatory tower, so he is probably out there right now charging someone $5,000 to tow their car. And
it's not mine.
yeah.
$5,000 a minute. Hey Robert, just tune in next week. I'm actually gonna have a graph on the alpaca market readily available for you. Okay, we're gonna see the alpaca rejection tenders. From Q1 to Q5.
Oh my god, bro, you're something. Oh my god, Hunter, I love you, bro.
I
You are
told you,
always
dude. The truck
you're
flu has been washed
fucking
from
on
me,
it.
but
We gotta have Rob on the show, man. I don't want to talk about anything logistics, Rob. I just want to talk ice fishing, bro. That's all I want to talk about, man. He
Well,
said,
and badges.
if these shows continue to be this good, then I will myself become a viewer slash listener.
Oh well,
So
you
I'm going
don't
to
even know, Rob. Tim doesn't even know.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. Let
So
me go
do you want
back.
to tell it to him?
Oh yeah, Tim, we are now launching on Spotify. So if
Well,
anyone, yeah, if anyone
not
doesn't
even
want to,
that.
huh?
Not even that. We're launching on Spotify, but you want to see our ugly mugs all the time. Tim, you've been on this show. So you are now an honorary lounge lizard. So you are
very
welcome
nice.
on the show anytime. We're on every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Afternoon.
Anytime you want to come on the show, you shoot us a message. We'll send you the link.
All right, and anytime you want me on the show, you let me know because I'd rather be a lounge lizard than a lot lizard. So thank you.
Bingo. And you
Yeah,
get it. So
and
welcome to the logistics lounge, my friend.
that's it. And
Thanks,
that's
guys. I appreciate it.
you're no, we appreciate you, Tim, and seriously, man. I mean, we have people all the time that've been guests on the show, and they just say, hey, I want to hop on and talk about this. And dude, yeah, if you're ever watching, just say, hey, I want to hop on and input on this, whether it be the news or anything else. And
If you see a
man, we
guest that you'd like to talk with, chat it up, man. First hour is always free. Fridays, Freestyle Friday. Um, it's gone as long as
Continue
9
again.
hours, but we're dialing it back to minimum or maximum of 4. So, yeah, dude. Welcome to the
I'll be happy
gang.
to. Thanks, guys.
Well,
no,
thank
thank
you.
Tim, and you hopefully, or I'm saying you get off, go enjoy that lovely Florida weather. We can see that beautiful sunshine and that palm tree behind you. And man, we're just we're gracious for you
Thanks,
coming
guys.
on and
I
hanging out with
appreciate
us.
you. Well, I'm gonna hop off. Let me leave. You guys carry on. I'm gonna leave this playing in the background, and I'm gonna get this on my calendar so I can come watch you guys more often. I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
Yes,
Tim. Have a
sir.
good one,
Thank you,
buddy.
Tim.
See
Later,
you,
brother.
fellas. Bye, bye,
All
guys.
right. Bye, man. Dude, that was fucking great, bro. That
It's
was
pretty rock and roll, dude. I'm sad I didn't know about his send earlier.
dude, I'm telling like it really is great, man. And I mean, I have been a proponent of theirs and have been talking about them for a very long time. Like I said in the show, man, they were the first you know, TMS that I really used and liked, man. It's just it's good shit, man. And Tim is so reachable and dude, that's so rare. Like I could get on LinkedIn right now and look up the VP or the fucking CEO of Aljex and DM them and say, "Hey, I really think this sucks. Could you change this?" I would never get a reply back. You know what I mean? And
No.
like I told you, when I had first got on LinkedIn and I was using the send, I had sent Tim a DM and it said, "Hey man, like this is something that I would like. I wish I remembered. Unfortunately, when you delete a LinkedIn message, it loses all the other ones, like a lot of platforms. But man, he replied back and said, and told me, hey, I'll have my people look into that, see if we can make that happen. And I just think that's great, man. Just like you brought up Import Yeti, he's about feedback and taking that feedback from his users and finding a way to implement and make his service and his platform better. And as he said, a lot of these larger people, like, they don't give a shit. They're like, man, we don't care about what you say. We've got so many users that if you leave, it's really not going to hurt our business. And it just, is what it is. Dude, Ryan, I mean, man, dude, I think a lot of people Ascend, or a lot of independent people, Ascend is the first one they use because, man, it's like Tim said, it's free off the get, and if you want to pay for it, you get a few more extra features and services. But I mean, even when you pay for it, I haven't looked up his pricing now, but I think when I used it last, it was like $100 a month. Actually, probably less than $100 a month for like 2 or 3 users, man. It's extremely affordable, and I love the layout. Honestly, that's my favorite thing. Like Algex, it's so like I don't know simplified, and it's not you don't care about you're not having fun using it. And essentially it's easy, man. It's colorful, like the icons and the text, everything is just it's welcoming and it's just easy to use. So dude, I love it, and I'm glad that he was able to come on the freaking show, man. He's a stellar guy, and to learn all those things about him, dude, man, like that's what I love, man, is just like he had said, and we had said on the show, it's like, man, he's like, I don't come on these things because everyone asks me the same fucking questions. And dude, when you were like, dude, we are not going to ask that stuff. We want to talk about who you are, Tim. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
fuck that boring stuff, dude. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
yeah, see, $100 per user. I think it may be even less than that. We'll have to look up, dude, because I mean, I don't know. Even still, that's still not bad. I don't know what Algex is or any of those others,
That's
but I
not
know
bad
that
at all, dude.
yeah.
Couple
So yeah,
loads as a new broker, independent, that pays for itself.
dude. And also, like, I don't know if he stopped it because he's coming out with his CRM thing, but he used to have when you paid for the subscription, like he had a shipper database on there. And whether you were a carrier or broker, like you click on there, and back in the day, it was like 20,000 shippers, and yeah, everyone who has access to the platform has it, but everyone in this industry knows that, Hunter could call a shipper, or I could call a shipper, and they'd be like, ah, fuck you. And then one or the other of us call them 30 minutes later and like, oh yeah, hey, here's a load. Quote this for me. Okay, run this load for me. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool system. And I don't know, he's a great guy, man. I
Yeah.
like him a lot, dude. I really do. He's freaking
Yeah,
vetted.
I'm about to convert a broker of 45 years onto that. So he doesn't have to lose 35% margin working with some cats just because, oh, I'm the big broker in the LTL game. Like, come on now, dude. Like, it's so easy. It's there.
Um,
It's that is added service. That is added service. Tracking LTL. Yeah, man, we got your TMS. But if you need something extra, we got you.
yeah, I do. I like him, man. And it's I don't know, it's real expansive and stuff. You know what I mean,
That's
dude? The
cool.
fact that he's, doing that LTL stuff and does with the carriers and the brokers and even a small shipper could use them and stuff, man. That's I don't know. Again, I just like it, dude. Really great service. The first time I ever used it was like 2020 or 2021, so it hasn't been super long, but I mean, just always good thing. Like so many other people have said on here, when folks ask about a TMS, Ascend is always the one that I recommend because it's
You know what it kind of sounds like? Kind of sounds like a sure thing.
with sure line. I know that's right, dude. I'm telling you, it's never more of a sure thing than if you do your factoring business with sure line. All right. To end,
And to tag on to Adam's comment, talk about being passionate. Tim is just about as passionate as Clint Weston is at Shoreline Capital. Those are two guys that are very fucking passionate.
I agree.
Use
And I'm
code
glad you brought
Lounge365. Come on now.
I'm glad you brought that up, man. I literally was going to pull his thing up. Corey, I know
I
you
already talked to Corey about it. He's got to send me the pictures.
I know you fucking talked to Hunter, bro. Like, hey, Corey, we need that picture, man, so I can implement that. I'm telling you, bro. You're going to be a permanent part of the Shoreline Capital promotion, man. With that photo that you send us, for real, bro. Seriously. Hunter, do you have any closing comments before we chop out this piece?
Go follow us on LinkedIn. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. Go find us on X. Give us some love. you have any ideas for merchandise besides these pretty swank only freight hats, let us know. We'll make it for you. We got only vans coming out. We're doing a test launch in Chicago right now. Shout out to my boy Josh at Gurman. Um, Tomorrow is going to be another fantastic day. Go find us on Spotify. We actually do have a Spotify account now. Um, I think I'm actually going to boycott Apple Music just because who uses Apple Music? Go to Spotify.
I use Apple Music, so fuck you.
You have a fucking Android, so that is
Oh,
so
well,
ass
hold on.
backwards.
Okay.
I can't believe you just said you use Apple Music,
I want
and
to touch
that
on. I want to.
wow. And
Hold
we're
on.
not gonna touch on it.
No, we are because I am a staunch boycotter of fucking Apple. I love their marketing ploy,
But you
but
just said you use Apple Music.
no, because hold on, listen. If you know anything about Apple Music, it started out as Beats, which was started by Dr. Dre. And how do you think Dr. Dre became a billionaire? Was because Apple purchased the Beats name, logo, and the merchandising rights, and then they rebranded the Beats music into Apple Music. So I have been with Apple Music, who used to be Beats, since the day that it rolled out. Actually, used to be a Rhapsody fan. I don't even know if Rhapsody's still a fucking platform
Probably
anymore.
not, but you saw that LimeWire came back, right?
Really did it?
Yeah, they're doing crypto now.
Oh, of course. I've
They
got.
don't-
I bet you. Actually, I know every one of the CDs. Well, not everyone, but a vast majority of the CDs I have were fucking downloaded using LimeWire, bro.
No.
LimeWire was the shit.
Yeah, my first a virus came from LimeWire.
I never got a virus from it, bro. Like,
Mm,
I mean, I don't know. I just guess I just got lucky. I never got a virus from it.
yep. I'm surprised I'm not in agriculture. A lot of corn on there.
Fucking.
And that's my final comments.
All righty, Spidey. We as always appreciate all of y'all tuning in and watching and listening to the freaking crap that we have to say. Tim with Ascend was an amazing guest. No matter what, if you're a new broker, an older broker, smaller law operation, medium size operation, carrier, shipper, we recommend that you go and check out Ascend. If you watch the whole show, you have seen all the comments flooding in and popping up on screen about how amazing they are. You heard Tim talk. You have learned about his passion, his background, and the things that drive him and why he has built Ascend and why he believes and continues to push it so much. We hope that y'all are going to join us tomorrow. We're going to have some fun as always. Be a fantastic show. I will drop the flyer for tomorrow here in a little bit so you know who's coming on the show. With that, as I always say, chunk them deuces, and Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.